Okay, so to fit the camera on the rear spoiler of the MG4 SE, we've got to get the tailgate trim out of the car, and there's really nothing to do except just be brave and start pulling. Be careful of the paint, but there's a blue clip and there's some metal clips. I've slowly eased this off. They come off, well, this came off without breaking, but before you do that, start pulling it off, you've got to have taken the handhold out, the striker plate cover. Probably don't need to take that out, but I've took it off just for inspection. So the striker plate has got just one little tab on it there, so that would be that way. So if we see it, it's just there. So just getting in there with a nice little pry, and that will come off. The handhold has got one screw right in the middle, one screw, but it is covered up with a little trim plate. And on the right hand end on this one, could be, I'm sure it could be any way round, although no, it looks wider at the top than it is at the bottom. So on the right hand end there is a little keyway to again get a screwdriver in. So take those off and start prising that off. Here is the inside tailgate trim on the MG4. We've got some metal clips here. So this is the top, and over there is the striker plate and the handhold. So along the top we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these metal clips, and then all those blue clips. So they are, you get the rough idea of where they are. They're about halfway up, just round the corner at the bottom, just either side of the striker, just before the corner, halfway up, and then there's 1, 2 in the middle. These are just standoffs. And for the tailgate to come off, we've got to release 1, 2, right up in there, and 3, 4, 5 is in the middle, and then another 4 that way. So there's 9 altogether, and plus 2 clips which are down in there and in there. They are the hard bit, and that's all that holds the tailgate on, the spoiler onto the tailgate. Back spoiler removed. There's 9 of these bolts. We've undone the nuts from the middle. There's a couple of guides, 1 either side and 1 in the middle. We're just held on these wires at the moment, so being very careful. But the things that were difficult in getting the rear spoiler off were these little white plastic clips. They've come out of this square hole here and here, and they were pretty problematic, and they would have broken, but I've managed to use a good old hose clamp on the inside of them to squeeze them together, and then the rear spoiler just popped off. So back to the inside of the boot. Here's the number plate lights. I think what we're going to do is disconnect this, pop that grommet out, push it through, and here is the boot release. What we're going to do is disconnect that, push it through, having popped the grommet out. But look, this grommet looks like a big grommet with some spare space in it. That looks like that's cooling out for our video cable to go through there, on its way back through the rest of the car, down here and through this one. There's 2 of these. This one I think's got 1 little tiny wire in it, so we're going to use that one This one's got quite a lot of stuff in it, so we won't use that. So that's going to be our destination. Yeah, from here we're going to go down there and through. So here's the spoiler. Here's the flat area that we're going to use to mount this in. Those dotted lines really are where the curve starts. I'm going to put it pretty much equidistant between there and there, side to side. This has only got a very small, only looks like 6mm. I'll probably drill a similar hole, and we're going to mount that in there. And so there we are, drilled, fitted, and just a nut and bolt there. We've got a then small connector here. We've got to cut one of these wires, or I'm going to cut one of these wires. There's a green and a white loop. I just have to look up which one to cut. But there's some nice reversing lines on the electronics box. But cutting one of these will get rid of the very straight static parking space line. So cut one of these, and we're going to go and pop it back on. Okay, so before we stitch everything up and put the back of the car back together, let's just make sure that it works. So foot on the brake, car wakes up, we'll go into reverse, and as we do, then there you go, we got the reversing beepers. If I turn the steering wheel lines move, and if we press park, that's it, back into reverse. Yeah, so you can hear the beepers are still working. Back into park. Okay, time to put the back of the car back together. Whilst refitting the spoiler, one of the things you've got to try and do is get the spoiler under this rubber. So I'm using a lot of credit cards. I've got that end done, working along. Just got this little area to get under, and then tuck it under and down. It will clip on. That clip, that white clip is in, this one isn't. Just have to be careful. So the camera is all fitted there, as you can see. And the cable's coming out through this grommet. For some reason I didn't use that one, but that one. So the camera wire is now attached to an existing loom. Here is the camera wire connector, which takes DC and video to the camera, but that's nice and small, so it fits through everything. It comes round, and on this camera we've then got a pair of connectors. One of them has got power on it, and the other one is the video connector, but this is the lead that goes off through the car, and that is simply a video lead with a RCA or phono type video connector, and it's got one power cable coming out of it, and I've simply joined that temporarily to this other wire, which we can see here, which fits into the power. So it doesn't need the earth. It's only got the equivalent of this connected to the pink wire that I showed you up at the front. So this will all be neatly tied up here. The video cable has gone down here, so it's running down here, it's through here and into here. Down here it's got I've put various bits of foam rubber so it doesn't rattle in here. Very annoying if it does that. This came off quite easily. The cable went through there. Obviously the other end of this, which has got one of these connectors on it, doesn't go through here very easily. I had to double the cable up, put a cable tie on it, push the long tail of a very long cable tie through, pull the doubled up cable through, and then try and push the phono plug through with a screwdriver without wrecking the phono plug, whilst this wasn't connected either end. That's probably one of the toughest bits to do without messing up the cable. This has got straight through here on the second skin, the internal skin, there's a hole, and the video cable has gone through here, out of there, and for the moment I've eased it out of here. If you just pry this back, there's enough of a cavity in there to get that out, and then that's a different job to get this cable from here through to the front of the car.